Hey, this is the Slayer here, bringing you another interesting Injustice 2 mobile video. Today I am repeating some of my Ancient Judgement Solo Raid Heroic VII Tier V one-shots from a few days ago, with nearly similar teams with a minor twist. I have set up chapters for your ease of reference. We start with the fight against the dangerous Darkseid. Jump to 2 minutes 38 seconds for the fight with, and 1 shot of Deathstroke and 5 minutes 28 seconds for Ascended Black Manta's noble attempt to one-shot boss Black Manta. Without Raven. Now I use my 8-star Beast Boy with Puppet for this fight against Darkseid, and honestly even my 7-star Beast Boy would have done. I have given detailed commentary on the setup for this fight and the tactics for activating Puppet, and how to mitigate his splash damage in my last one-shot of this a few days ago, and I have provided a link to that video in this video's description as well as the card floating on the upper right corner of this video. This time I have used the same tactic with a twist. Instead of Manta Puppet and Beast Boy Puppet, dual Puppet strategy. Since I was using Manta elsewhere, I used BNGG with Puppet and Beast Boy Puppet. Thanks to Beast Boy's passives from 7-star upwards, very rarely are raid-specific artifacts needed with him once you build him to this level. Manta, Beastie with Manta's ability to activate Puppet is a sure shot for Chaos Tajin, and given Darkseid's high damage it was risk to not keep him here. But using BNGG's passives I managed to activate Beastie's Puppet. Also in most Chaos Tajin bosses when I have Puppet on both Beastie and Manta they both survive and lock the boss from doing a super, but last time a few days ago Darkseid did a super and killed my Manta and got Beastie down to 1 health bar. This time he did his super on BNGG and my Beastie got down to 1 health bar again. But luckily since they both had Puppet the Puppet's blind effect was active and Beastie could push on. Use the same tactic from last time. Start with the other guy combo till Beastie tags in and do his SP1 to blind special damage and activate Puppet, and once you activate it, do Beastie SP3 closing the distance with the boss till he is in the corner. Ideally the other guy in other fights also Chaos tag-ins into the same corner, but here he doesn't, which is why he falls to the super. But you should be able to ensure the boss doesn't super on Beastie. This is an interesting fight of the Batman Ninja team with boss Deathstroke. Now interestingly, being a Tier V boss and in particular a Heroic 7 Tier V boss, he does do higher critical damage and start with some power. Albeit he doesn't have higher power generation. This time I also ran through his buffs/modifiers at the beginning of the video again, to check if he has any additional defenses. None declared, but a few days ago I used my standard Ascended Batman Ninja Batman team of him with Beta, BN Robin with Raid Artifact providing the lethal buff and BN Joker with Zatanna's Puppet. Surprisingly the damage had built very slowly and the match went to the last 4 seconds. This time today I used my other method of adding Silver Batman Gemstone as the 3rd character to Ascended Batman Ninja Beta, and BNR Crown of Kondak instead of BN Joker or Zatanna with Puppet. Both Ascended Batman Ninja and Ascended Silver Batman have the tech power Steel on critical attacks passive, and Batman also stuns with his SP2, which is critical for a gemstone wearer to stun the boss after applying the gemstone stacks so that the damage dealer can comfortably tag in and do damage, as well as build a combo that will be activated through a combo lock or tag and combo special in the next tag in of the gemstone wearer. Bear in mind that as gemstone stacks increase they reduce in duration. But with Batman Ninja normally 2 to 4 stacks are enough. I earlier used to play this team with Gemstone using BNCW as the Gemstone wearer. In other raids when I used Batman with Gemstone the one-shot was slower than with BNCW with Gemstone or with BN Joker with Puppet as the 3rd character. But BNCW as the 3rd character with Gemstone doesn't work on some bosses, and today this team with Silver Batman and Gemstone comfortably finished this boss. At one stage it even looked like it would be done in 1.5 minutes, but took a bit longer. It has been a while since I used Gemstone, and it can do more damage than Puppet, but damage on it builds differently, and you may need to build stacks more than once or combo more rather than just doing a jump attack and tagging in a Puppet wearer. My point is, while this went quicker, usually there isn't too much difference between the two options of Puppet or Gemstone. Actually, sometimes in Heroic 6 and 7 bosses that do higher damage may have higher undeclared defense to certain attacks. So in summary, either use this team with Gemstone on this guy. Or if you don't have Gemstone, use Zatanna with Puppet as the third character, as I did with this team on the high defense and armor pierce immune cyborg yesterday, instead of BN Joker or BNGG with Puppet. Now this fight with Manta. Using Manta was one of the biggest tragedies of our time. It ended up somewhat narrowly missing the one-shot, but I believe I put in a commendable performance, as good as my performances in my video where I demonstrated non-Aquaman bosses one-shots with Manta without Raven. Hence I believe this fight was worthy of putting in the video, and only the AI being a bit dodgy when you compress their increased power generation led to missing what was a sure shot one-shot. So as emphasized in my prior videos, avoid using Ascended Manta against bosses with increased power generation unless they are an Aquaman boss or a non-Aquaman boss you are playing with Raven. Although it is also recommended that when using Manta on non-Aquaman bosses without Raven you use him on Might bosses, only I chose a tech character. This is because this was the final tier boss of Tier V in this raid. Usually from Heroic 5 to 7, and this is Heroic 7, in my experience. Although it isn't expressly stated, the final boss of Tier V, whilst capable of doing a lot of damage, takes a lot more damage and can be one-shot by teams that usually struggle to one-shot as well. People also say that it is better to use Ascended Manta with Twin Blades and either Justice League the Flash or Silver Batman with Gemstone to one-shot these kind of bosses, as they feel Beta does not have good synergy or performance with Manta. However, in my view, Beta works well on Ascended Manta as the dots crit and power steal even when he is tagged out. Also, this boss had increased power generation which I managed to impressively curtail throughout the match. So in addition to using Manta Beta, the boss's additional power generation helped achieve Zatanna's 300% damage within the first few seconds of the match, and we also did Manta super early on in the match. Getting these two achieved early is a big achievement, so we had 30 seconds more than usual to start building and maintaining the 100 Manta stacks whilst simultaneously keeping Puppet active. But the problem here, like the fight against Vixen, albeit that was with Manta using Twin Blades, is that the gameplay is perfect. Mostly the one-shot seems guaranteed, then out of nowhere the boss either doesn't get stunned or pulls a move it shouldn't, or generates random power, or as seen in this match delays Manta's Tajin when it shouldn't. In the video it won't be apparent, but there were 2 occasions when I lost stacks wherein my tag out should not have been that prolonged. I may have still done the one-shotted if I had tagged in Zatanna in the last 20 seconds, but that would still be too close for comfort. Another issue here is that with both Manta and Puppet stacks you don't get to see the sign of the blind effect from Puppet being active, and only know it is there if the boss misses. And once you start building and maintaining Manta stacks you can only do 2 Zatanna specials, and sometimes not even a combo before you tag Manta back in to maintain his stacks. Somehow the blind from Puppet stays active, but if you lose the blind unexpectedly it is an issue. Next time I think it may be worth losing Manta stacks every now and then to ensure the blind effect is active, and then quickly rebuilding them. Otherwise, frankly speaking, it is only a minimum 9-star Manta in my view that would guarantee a one-shot of such bosses without Raven. But still, it is a niche pit not worth investing time or money in unless you have built all the others. I don't think it is a skill issue, as I have done some crazy one-shots, including the crazy Chaos Tajin high damage Atrocitus from another raid, Darkseid and MMH in this raid, and Cows in another. It's just that compared to other teams, despite his 100 stack thing, Manta requires a lot more effort and buffs to consistently build damage. Also, this is more execution heavy than other pips and has no room to mess up like other teams. Sometimes even bosses you one-shot with him you don't if something with your device or play went slightly off. Manta is fun in invasions and arena and good for Aquaman solo bosses when he has Twin Blades, and otherwise good with Raven. But we really do need to ascend him to 9 or 10 star to get guaranteed one-shots from him in all circumstances, and that isn't worth the resources. I saw someone one-shot a Heroic 7 boss using a 5 levels Ascended Manta with Twin Blades, CWW, and Justice League the Flash with a level 9 gemstone. That is a hell of a lot of buffs, stacks, artifact levels, and a hell of a lot of ascension, and even then the one shot took 2 minutes and a few more seconds. That is it from my side. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do let me know your comments, strategies and experiences, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.